companies, two of the biggest rivals in tech history. One makes your iPhone and the other one made the search engine you use every day for almost everything. For decades, they have competed, copied each other, even sued each other, and quietly and occasionally needed each other. But day before yesterday at Apple Park, something quite unexpected happened, which most of the tech enthusiasts, genuinely even me, did not expect to see this. Apple stood up in front of the world and announced that they are partnering with Google to rebuild Siri. Not integrated Google, not licensed Google, but built something new together with Google. And the question I haven't been able to stop thinking since the event was, is this a sign of weakness or is it the smartest decision Apple has ever made in its history? Being a huge Apple fan, here is my honest take. Firstly, let's talk about what actually happened, because most of the things that you read online about this event were either dramatic or slightly simplified. Apple did not put Google Gemini in your phone. What actually happened was more interesting than that. Apple and Google worked together to build something new. Apple's own foundation models and Google's Gemini technology was used to help Apple build and train its own AI models, and they call it next generation Apple's foundation models. But what ended up on your device is not Gemini. What runs on your device and in Apple's cloud is Apple's own technology and Apple's own code. Craig Federighi said it himself on stage. We embarked on a deep collaboration with Google. That deep collaboration produced a 3-layer AI architecture. Most of your daily tasks like Siri setting a timer or Siri reading out your messages will be processed on your iPhone itself. But heavier tasks are sent to Apple's private servers. More extremely complex tasks that usually demand heavier AI horsepower are handled at cloud level. Built with Google's help but processed on Apple's terms with Apple's privacy rules applied. Imagine you're building a car. You're incredible at design, comfort, safety, and the driving experience. But your engine needs work and you're lagging in the competition. To save time, instead of building it from scratch, you bring in the best engine specialist in the world, not to drive your car, just to help you build a better engine. You're not using their engine. Once it's built, it's your engine, your car, your rules. So when people say Google is now inside your iPhone, that's not entirely accurate. Definitely Google helped Apple build a better engine, but Apple is still driving the car. Now here is what this new Siri actually does. Well, this part actually matters because for years, Siri has been the punchline of every AI conversation. Federighi said on stage, "We have rebuilt Siri with powerful AI at the core. Siri is a profoundly more capable assistant and it's more conversational." What does this actually mean? You know, for years, Siri has never been able to respond back to your follow-up question. But not anymore. Siri can now handle back and forth conversations without you repeating the context every time. It even understands what's on your screen. So if you're reading an email and ask Siri a question about it, Siri already knows what you're looking at. It can take actions across multiple apps in a single request. And the best part is, it now lives in its own dedicated app. So for the first time, you can have a proper conversation with Siri just like you have with Claude or ChatGPT. And here is one thing that genuinely surprised me. In iOS 27, you are given a chance to choose which AI you want Siri to hand off to. Is it ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini? You get to pick and Apple becomes the gateway. That is a massive shift for a company that has always controlled everything end to end and is known for its ecosystem. But before I get to the main question, I want to talk about something Apple said that I think is important than any other feature announcement. Federighi said on stage, "We believe privacy in AI is non-negotiable. Data is only used to execute your request and outside experts can continue to verify this promise at any time." Think about what that means in the context of this Google partnership. Every AI company in the world is racing to know more about you because that knowledge is their product. But in case of Apple, the device in your hand, their iPad, their iPhone, etc., that is their product. And a company that makes money by selling you hardware has absolutely no incentive to monetize the life you live on it. They partnered with Google to build a better AI brain, but they built walls around your data to make sure that even Google cannot access that data. And I don't think that's a weakness. That's architecture. And back to the main question, is partnering with your biggest rival a weakness or the smartest decision in tech history? Apple was late to AI. It's not an opinion. In fact, Apple acknowledged this at the event. You know, Siri has always been behind ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. Everyone in the auditorium knew it. Everyone watching the stream knew this. So Apple had two choices.
Number one, build everything alone. Knowing Apple, that takes 3 more years, and looking at the pace of AI advancement, Apple will definitely fall behind by then. Or number two, find the best partner available, build something genuinely competitive and ship it on Apple's terms with Apple's privacy, Apple's design and Apple's integration, and term it as the best in the world so far, as Apple always does.
And Apple chose second option. And here is the thing, I don't think it's a weakness because that's what best companies do. They genuinely knew what they're good at and they're honest when they need really help. Apple is genuinely great at hardware, integration, privacy, design, but they really need help in designing a world-class AI foundation model at speed. On the other hand, Google is great at building AI at speed, but it has never been able to deliver the kind of seamless private hardware integrated experience that Apple delivers. So together they built something that neither could build alone, and I believe that should be appreciated. And here is what I genuinely believe. I don't think Apple is depending on this partnership like forever. I think Apple is using this to buy some time to build something entirely their own. And the day their architecture is ready, they'll walk away. And knowing Apple since so long, I believe Apple will walk away claiming they were always ahead.
Tim Cook said it himself in his farewell message yesterday, and I want to read this carefully because I think it matters. He said, "I truly believe the best is still ahead at Apple."
And coming from a man who led the most valuable company on earth for 15 years and who wiped a tear on stage saying final goodbye, I believe him. Here is what I think this moment means for all of us, not just Apple fans. Is the era of one company trying to own AI alone may already be ending?
OpenAI needs Microsoft's infrastructure. Google needed Apple's distribution. Apple needed Google's AI expertise. Even the biggest players in the world are realizing that no single company can win this alone, at least as of now.
It's actually a great news to you as the person using these AI tools. Competition between partners produces better products faster than competition between enemies. The Siri you use this autumn is genuinely going to be different from the Siri you've been making fun of for the past 10 years. So whether it's good enough or not, we'll find out when it launches commercially this fall. But day before yesterday, Apple made its most honest, most confident, and maybe most important move in years. They asked for help, and they asked without apology. And I genuinely think it's one of the smartest moves in tech history. For 30 days, I covered AI tools that changed the way you work, think, and create. I was talking about this domination of AI. And day before yesterday, Apple, the biggest tech company in the world, announced that they've been watching this revolution and became desperate looking at its pace. And they have decided it's high time to join it properly. So what are you waiting for? If you want someone breaking down what's actually happening in AI, explain and decode AI, not just what the headlines say, do subscribe to this channel right now. This is MMK and I'll see you in the next one.